We are live. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. A very warm welcome to session 3 of day 6 of the third international conference and the POP Festival for Youth-led Climate Action 2021. We are delighted to have you all join us for one of the biggest youth-led events for climate action. My name is Drishya Pathak. I'm a public health professional and a POP youth mentor at the POP movement. The POP family is excited to welcome you to this amazing session where we'll be talking about how we are going to engage with the Climate Aid Forum in future to conduct a pre-youth forum. And today is the launch of that discussion and the town hall that will take place in future. We have today two extremely important people who are part of the family and our partners. We have Mr. Lars Jacobsson and Ms. Rags Jacobsson. Mr. Lars Jacobsson has a technical background but graduated in economics at IHM, the Institute for Higher Marketing in Gothenburg, Sweden, and went to become an entrepreneur in the oil and gas industry. He successfully founded several companies within the storage, shipping, and trading of oil. Mr. Jacobsson created and introduced the final tool and oil trading concept of oil contago to the market in the early 1990s and was one of the pioneers of the Russian oil marketing during the transformation of the Soviet Union. He's currently, he's one of the main reasons, the capability of combining his wide technical background with entrepreneurship and understanding of the future markets has been the signature for the creation of shipping companies, oil trading companies, oil and metal storage companies, and renewable energies companies. In 2002, he sold his companies and left the oil industry to focus at creating a paradigm change in future energy production. Lars co-founded what was then a solar technology company, Clean Energy AB, in 2005, sold his part of the company in 2010 and founded United Sun System and brought his then extensive knowledge of the solar energy business as well as his overall expertise in the energy business with him. His intention with the foundation of Texel was to create or develop a renewable energy technology competitive both in price and performance without subsidizing to fossil fuel. One of the main reasons to form Texel Energy Storage was Mr. Jacobsson understood that storage was to become key for future renewable energy, producing solar energy daytime in just a first step towards a technology that will compete with fossil fuels. Generation 2 is a system that incorporates storage. The focus was very early on to develop a higher temperature thermal storage solution and to reconfigure the traditional CSP dish Stirling system in order to build generation 2 CSP dish Stirling system that includes thermal storage. Lars Jacobsson is the chairman and CEO of Texel Energy Storage, chairman of the Perfect World Foundation, and also director of the World Sustainable Development Forum. Ms. Rags Jacobsson is an entrepreneur, philanthropist, and conservationist. She is the CEO and co-founder of the non-profit nature and animal organization, the Perfect World Foundation, which is of an Scandinavian origin but with a global mission. With her extensive experience from business and civil society, she is steering the organization with a clear focus on saving a part of a paradise for upcoming generations. With that, I welcome you both for a keynote and tell us more about the Climate Aid Forum and all that the youth is going to be part of in future. Welcome.
Thank you. I think for next time I will send you a shorter bio.
every time I read your bio, I feel that the story is very, very important because it's important for everyone to understand that how the shift actually happened.
Okay, fair enough. I'm glad you left the oil side and came into the renewable part. I was a little bit worried.
Right? That's amazing.
At first,
so good to see you all. Now when we can't traveling, it's really refreshing to see people from all around the world. So hello everybody from Sweden.
Yes. I'm actually half human, half polar bear, as you can see.
Yeah, I couldn't get rid of that background, so sorry for that.
Yeah.
Yes, but Lars, maybe you can tell a little bit more about Climate Aid World Forum, a new initiative.
Yeah, we could. As we heard earlier, we are the founders of the Perfect World Foundation, and the Perfect World Foundation has been working for many years with protecting our biodiversity, nature, climate. Has come onto our agenda during the last 5 years, more or less.
Yeah.
And the problem, as we all know, is the fact that we are facing a future where our animals are more threatened by the climate than by poaching, maybe even more.
I always say that it's so important to get the animals also into the ballroom or the boardroom or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's my job.
Yeah, that's our job. And what's my job then?
Everything else.
Okay, so everything else is my job. Yes, so we started up, it was actually when we had Dr. Pachauri, the Pachi, Ash father here in Sweden in 2018, together with Sir David Attenborough, when we decided together that we should start up a climate initiative connected to biodiversity and try to bring more people, more businesses, governmental bodies, politicians, academia, youth into the discussion to create a forum. And the forum's name is Climate Aid World Forum, and it's kicking off this year. And unfortunately, we are in a situation where we need to kick things off on the web instead of live. But with all these people coming from all over the world, I think using the web as a tool for coming forums and webinars and hybrid events or whatever is, of course, a super possibility to get more people to be engaged in the forum. But someone talked about action, and Climate Aid World Forum is all about action. It's all about solutions. And I think we are all a little bit tired of promises, declarations, conferences that end up with just a lot of talk. We have a pretty famous young Swedish girl here in Sweden. She thinks that people are talking too much and acting too little. So in that
when the house is on fire.
When the house is on fire, we need to act. Exactly. And we know for a fact that we haven't done enough already. So that is actually one of the most important part, to bring in the youth and the young people into the discussion, because the planet is for you in the future. It's not for old people like my father, my friends. Yeah, so that's very important. So I think what we need to achieve and get your opinion on is, of course, to see what we can do together to make the change needed. We actually put an end date on Climate Aid World Forum, and it's from 2021 to 2030. Because if we haven't done enough in 2030, we are unfortunately afraid we are running too late. So we need to act. We need to act now, and we need to act together, and we need you to take part of that action.
Any questions? No, everybody's on mute.
That's fantastic. I was really clear.
No, but yeah, but
so that's a great thing. And thank you for sharing that. And we're so excited to be part of this together. I was wondering, and I'm sure lots of young people here have that question in their mind. What would be some ways in which we can plan to come together? I know we've talked about the pre-COP forum, but if there are other ideas, it would be amazing to hear your thoughts, please.
Yeah, we talked about one thing that I mean, in Sweden, we talk about climate change. It's like it's getting warmer, or today it's maybe a little bit colder, whatever. We said it could be so nice if we could have young people from all around the world telling people in Sweden what is climate change where you live, because it's so different and you see it in a different way. So that would be something that we can, I mean, yeah, have. I don't. Next year, hopefully, it will not be a webinar. It will be on a big stage. It's the biggest culture event in Northern Europe, and we said that could be really good. I mean, some of you maybe could come to Sweden. Some could join us on web, but I think that's a important topic, because I think I mean, climate change in Africa or in Alaska or United States, we talk about it in different ways.
Yeah,
So,
we need live testimonials. I mean, in Sweden, it's, as you know, pretty cold, and people are really happy that global warming is helping them to get warm. So, and that's not the truth. I mean, we need to spread the message around the effect on climate change, and we need live testimonials from all over the world.
yeah.
Absolutely. I totally agree. And maybe we can open up. I don't know if, well, there are two Sams over here who may want to share some real stories. It would be amazing. And then, of course, there's many other young people who might want to share some too. So, you know, I open up now. And if you wanted to sort of just talk a little bit about, you know, your context, perspective, and you know, what you would want to see happen, and then let's start to formulate that core group we talked about so that we can begin to have regular conversations. There's a larger group also from the Perfect World Foundation we'll get to work with, and then, you know, there's going to be many steps in this process, but we definitely need to make it happen. So I'm going to leave it to you now to pick up, and please, you know, share what it is, and all of you, in fact, what your inspiration is to be here and take action. So, and anything on your stories and contexts.
Well, I think, first of all, good morning from Alaska to everyone. I think one of the things that motivates action, especially in our state, is the cultural imperative that is being created by climate change. I grew up hunting and fishing with my uncles, the native way, the traditional way. And from the time that I was a little boy, we would go out and we would get things from the land and from the ocean. We would hunt on the sea ice in the spring. We'd hunt geese in the fall. We'd pick berries in the summertime and catch fish in the spring, summer. And we did these things as our ancestors did, as our people have done for tens of thousands of years. But we're watching right now as climate change threatens those weather patterns. It's changing the weather patterns that we rely on to, one, safely harvest our foods, and then two, it's changed the migration routes of the animals that we rely on for food. Where a lot of you are, there's grocery stores. You can go out and you can go to a Safeway or a Walmart or something and get food. Where we are in Alaska, we don't have a grocery store. We have a village store, which has things like flour and baby formula. And that's about it. And so we rely on our traditional foods. We rely on our traditions. We rely on our traditional knowledges to feed us. And right now, climate change is negatively impacting the way that our animals are interacting with us. Our whales come later when there's no sea ice and we're not able to go out hunting. Our walrus don't come at all. Our seals are sick. Our salmon are smaller. Our geese are coming later and later and later each year. And so when it comes to climate change, Lars, you were talking about it, and so were you, Rags, about the idea of what does climate change mean? I think a lot of times we reduce climate change to numbers. We reduce it to X number of feet of sea level rise, 400 parts per million of soluble carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. But what climate change really means here is that there's no food in my freezer, that there's no food on the plate of my cousin, that our community's identity that's been built over thousands of years is being eroded at a rate that is never before seen. And so that's what brings us together, and that's what brings us to action today.
Yeah.
So I hope that that's informative.
That's interesting story. Yeah.
Would you say that you can see changes during your life?
Well, certainly. I won't get into the specifics, but the different types of ice that we rely on. So where we are, we're in the middle of the Bering Straits. We're right between Alaska and Russia in the Bering Sea. And we hunt marine mammals out of a 16-foot aluminum boat and out of skin boats. What makes it safe for us to go out and hunt in that water, which frequently rises to 30-foot seas, is ice. Sea ice acts like land does. It keeps waters really calm. And so you have big icebergs and ice floats and ice flows that come in and that are formed that keep the ocean really, really calm. And so we're able to go out in small boats and go and harvest our food. Once that ice goes away, as it has done in the past few years, the ocean's angry. It's huge. You very easily can get 40 or 50 knot winds that cause 30-foot seas. That's not something that's safe to be out in a 20-foot boat or a 16-foot boat either. What's also happening more and more is that our ice isn't coming at all, or it's thin, it's rotten. And so ice also acts as a buffer for the community against winter storms. When there's no sea ice, it means that large storms that can hurl icebergs the size of a school bus, hundreds of feet, happen right on the shoreline of our village, rather than 2 miles out at the edge of the sea ice. And so those changes that we see have happened in my lifetime.
Amazing.
We have less and less ice.
But this is
Oh,
really
yes.
this is so interesting. Like you said, we can just go out and buy whatever we want at the store, the grocery store, and so I think this is if we can like together make videos from all of you from different parts of the world and telling your stories. I think that's it's alarming, even if you don't like hunting or whatever it could be. It's alarming to see that things are changing so rapidly that it's something that it's wrong. I mean, we have been up to Svalbard a couple of times, and we know exactly what you mean by the ice is disappearing and everything that changes. And I mean, it's in a way a small world that we share.
Mm-hmm.
So
very much.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, I love I don't like the story. It's terrible, but it's something that we should really share. For example, on our webinars or on our live galas next year for sure. That's a real life testimonial. Thank you very much for that one.
Yeah, and I think if people in Sweden, I mean, that's why I think it's important that it comes from different part of the world. But I mean, you maybe think that in Nigeria it could be food. Of course, it could be that also, but not in Alaska. So yeah, thank you. We need to hear more stories.
Prachi, would you like to tell us about your story?
Yes. Right. First of all, thank you so much, Sam, for sharing that. And it really brings me back to why I started Cool the Globe, hearing like exactly you said, it's not about these effects. It's about not having food in the fridge, and it's about not having food on my cousin's plate. And it was so jarring to hear. And the same in India. We find um, ordinary people like me, people around me, very few of them can care about climate change, because they think that it's about something that's happening very far away from their homes, and they think that it's about these big things that are happening that they can't do anything about. So um, uh, when I realized that, I started asking people, what is it that you truly care about? Forget about environment, forget about everything else. What do you really care about? And the answers were almost always the same. People said, I care about my food, I care about my home, I care about my health, I care about my income, I care about my family. In India, if time permits, you care about politics because it can sometimes be very entertaining. And people care about other people. They care about communities around them. And slowly, I started realizing that climate change impacts every single one of those things that we so deeply care about. It's not about these big, heavy words and the reports that we read and the news we see. It's about some very real faces and some very real voices. And when I realized that, I started thinking about what is it that I could do about it. And I was in college at the time, and climate change seemed like something so big that I didn't think that an 18-year-old like me could do anything about it, could do anything meaningful. But nevertheless, I went to my parents and I asked them, what do you think I can do about climate change? And as a family, we decided to reduce our own greenhouse gas emissions by 10%. And it seemed like something that was doable. And like some very strange things started happening when we decided that. We started doing research on how we could reduce our emissions, which actions were of us were leading to it, how we could measure it. And what started happening was this jarring feeling that I had before from seeing the impacts of climate change. It turned into almost a fun game that I was playing. I started feeling happy almost, even though it was a small change at my own level. It felt good to do that. The second strange thing that happened was so many people around me came to me and said, my friends, my family, they said, it seems like you're doing something interesting and we want to do it too. We want to join in. And that was very surprising to me, because till that point, I just thought that, maybe people just don't care about it. But I realized that people do care when you start doing something. People want to be a part of something that's meaningful and something that's bringing about change. And once I realized that, we started thinking about how we could turn this personal individual quest into, how we could bring global citizens into this common goal. And if there's anything which would help citizens come together to do something about climate change. And at the time, all of these global institutions said that citizen participation is very important. But I really couldn't find any which could quantify this movement, quantify the contribution of individuals to climate change. And then I thought, then, we must build it ourselves. And that's how we started Cool the Globe. And we started building an app which would help individuals reduce their own greenhouse gas emissions to a target. So what the app does is, it, as soon as you enter it, everybody's given a monthly and an annual target to reduce their emissions. And you can see simple things that you can do in your day-to-day life in order to meet those targets. So a person living in India would get a target of reducing 30 kg of emissions in a month. And right now it's summertime in India, it's very hot. So I take cold water showers, which I would anyway like to do, which is anyway very pleasant. And I save 14 kg of emissions just by doing that. A lot of us are working from home, so I skip the car ride to the office. And every day I save 2 kg of emissions by doing that. So I always tell people, start with something which you'd anyway like to do, which anyway aligns with your day-to-day life. And you'll also see the climate impact you're doing by making that. And when you start seeing that impact, you feel like doing it more and more. The biggest thing is that so many people think, what can one person do? How are small actions going to make a difference? So we have a global meter on the app, which would show the emissions saved by all app users combined. And so far, we've saved 1,000 tons of greenhouse gas emissions together as a community of 13,000 citizens from over 55 countries. And that is a part of collective action. When there's so many citizens coming together on a common cause, you see something powerful happening. And it also creates a ripple effect for systemic changes around the globe. So I think when people from grassroots would start coming together to act on climate change, that is a very good cause for us to keep hope. So I'm so happy to see all of these young people here, and everybody is so inspiring. So I would love to hear from others also.
Thank you. Fantastic.
Super like. Yeah, that's fantastic, and it's so important, just as you say, that everyone is asking us all the time question, what can I do to do something? And I mean, this is a perfect example on that you can actually do something. Yeah, good. Love it.
So I actually wanted to ask you, because in your talk brought a smile to so many of our faces. So I want to ask you, how do you keep the humor and optimism alive while working on something so serious and sometimes even very scary?
You have
to answer that one.
You mean how to give people optimism?
Yes. And
I think I get optimism today when I hear you talking, for example. I mean, I'm getting, both me and Rags, we are getting really, really, really negative sometimes. So we need to refill energy. And today, I mean, we are refilling energy, and you give us so much energy, so you can't imagine. That is exactly what we want in our lives, that things are changing, and you are proof of that. Thank you.
Definitely.
Thank you.
That's actually what gives us hope. We went to a dinner a couple of weeks ago and we met a lady and said, I don't care about climate change. I don't believe in that, And it's
She even added that it's nice when it's getting warmer. So she believed in climate change.
The nice was getting deeper inside me.
Then you get a little bit depressed, of course. But I mean, and to be honest, I mean,
I think she also thought that the world was flat.
Yeah. 100%, 100%, two-dimensional, or even one. But once again, I mean, the youth of today, I mean, that is so hopeful for us, and it gives us a lot of energy.
Yeah, but to be a little bit, I mean, serious. I mean, it's a little bit tough. I mean, you see, I mean, the scientists, they have the answer, they give it to the politicians, and nothing happens, and they're just talking, and yeah, that is.
Yeah, and many of you know, I mean, like Rag said, I mean, we've been to expeditions to the 80th degree north, and we met with scientists that are really sad. They are crying. They are.
When you turn off the camera.
When behind the camera, but when we turn on the camera, they're talking about hope, and it's possible, and the changes is not that bad, and So, I mean, the truth is really bad, and we need to handle the truth by really moving on to action-based.
But that is something we also want to do for next year, for the big event, is that to have some of you asking really tough questions to politicians here, and like Volvo, big companies. I think that could also be really refreshing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's easier when you are young to ask questions like Greta has done, because I think you can ask whatever you want, and you don't have to care in the same way as another politician asking another politician, if you understand what I mean. So that is also something we could do. But what are you planning for pre-COP now?
Yeah.
Are you? Is it just? What are you planning for pre-COP? Is it?
Yeah. Drishya or Vanessa, would you like to talk a little bit about the pre-COP activities, please?
Vanessa?
I don't
Hello?
think Vanessa is not able to connect apps. So the pre-COP activities, Lars Rags, basically in terms of planning, we're at a point where we're going to kick off the planning, but the idea definitely is to bring together all our partners from around the world and have specific issues focused upon. So we'll have, those that'll be sort of focused on native communities, indigenous communities, gender inclusiveness. We'll also have those that focus on technology and law and policy kinds of things that you were talking about, which is with respect to, demanding change and questioning policy decisions. We would certainly have voices of young people amplified throughout the pre-COP. And so the idea is definitely to, and of course, we've got specific sort of focus in terms of ocean initiatives and health initiatives and things like that. So we do want to cover ground with respect to that. I think the idea would be definitely to have voices of youth. So rather than sort of one-way message giving, it would definitely be very participatory, engaging, entertaining, all of that. And so the idea would be to make sure that we have a space for young people to amplify their voices about issues of concern, particularly in the build up to the COP. We want to make sure we table those issues, and we want to make sure also that a lot of these issues that we're talking about are not siloed and kept sort of on the periphery of our issue of climate action, but really those that are mainstreamed. So we would want definitely for there to be real participation from on the ground. We want communities from around the world to be participating. In the current festival, we have close to 100 partners. I think there's some 95 or 97 partners, and more than 80 countries or 85 countries. I don't have the exact count, those are still happening, but we would want everybody to be part of this, because that's the only way we're going to really have the momentum, the movement, and the true integration. Otherwise, it's not. In this case, for the festival, we have had regional participation also in addition to the global arena. So we've in order to be able to amplify real action off the ground up, we've had regional focus. So there's been the US, and there's been Latin America, and there's been Mexico and the Caribbean, and there's been Africa and the Middle East, and there's been Europe, and there's been Asia and the Pacific, and so on. So we've had regional specific as well as global. So here, I think the next opportunity, which will be the pre-COP, which is no doubt of importance by itself, will definitely be an important opportunity for this to be a follow-up to the festival and to bring everybody together, and then some more. So just broadly speaking, that's the overarching concept. But we are looking forward to definitely out of this session having a core group. I mean, I think we have an amazing core group because we already have several countries here, and we will add some more so as to have complete representation. And then we start to work together with you to put together, not only for the pre-COP initiative, but also in the build up to the Climate Aid Forum, which I know many people would love to be a part of, and not only virtually, in person, and all the rest. And it's an ongoing thing. It's not a one-off. So that's what counts. And thank you for your leadership in this. Thank you.
Thank you. And so sorry, my computer was getting frozen. I think Dr. Ash already explained everything really well, and we would love to invite you to be part of this great initiative. It's going to be on 30th September to 2 of October. So it's an event that we are going to, it's like the path to go to the COP26. So
Yeah.
Pop Movement is going to participate in this pre-COP event, and definitely we would like to invite you to be part of this great initiative. Thank you so much, Dr. Ash, I'm sorry.
No, not at all. And this is a part of the online world, right? When we're sitting face to face, we talk way more suddenly online we can't get our voices out, but we want everybody's voices out, and I think that's what's most important. And I just want to say that even with the previous festival and the current festival, we've had policymakers, we've had heads of states and governments, we've had businesses, and of course we've had a large contingent of youth, but the intention would be to make sure that it remains intergenerational, cross stakeholder, because real change will come by making sure we have diversity. So yeah, that's my only addition. Thank you, and thank you for sharing the date. So it's a crucial time. Yes.
Okay, sounds good. But
Thank
do
you.
you think it will be possible for us to start with this video thing for the Climate Aid World Forum? I think that could be really nice.
Absolutely.
Maybe even we can send it from the Climate Aid World Forum to COP.
Yes, absolutely. So here's an idea. I don't know if you agree, Brags, Lars, and of course the rest of the family whom we're so blessed to be here together with. Almost all of us are on WhatsApp together. I know some may not have WhatsApp too, but we're on email as well. So I'm just wondering whether you think we might add to the group we already have. We bring in voices of young people who would definitely formulate the committee, and then also if all of you agree, we would be very blessed and grateful. Even just use your phone to record, a small to the point testimonial. We can articulate a few questions. Who you are, where you're from, what your inspiration is, what you're doing, and what drives you. It's the same as your inspiration. But we could just get a short video where we can amplify your voices. And make sure that you are integrated with this right from the word go. And I just want to say you are precious. Each one of you is a precious part of the POP family. And so your presence, your voice, your inspiration and your drive, it counts. And this is what it is that is the heart of everything that we're doing. So we warmly welcome all of you, and I'd be very grateful if each one of you could share that. And if Rags, Lars, you think that's a good way to go, then we...
we can put something together for how long it should be, and maybe we can also have the same backgrounds with logos, and we can do it really, design it really nice. A little bit.
Absolutely.
So let's put something together, and would love to hear all your stories. I think that could be powerful.
Yeah, 100%.
Thank you. That's amazing. And for anybody who's not regularly on WhatsApp, I'll make sure that we send you emails and text messages too. So just in case there's any network issue or anything, we'll make sure we keep in communication. But I just want to say you're at the heart of this, and you are the heart of this. So thank you, and that'll be amazing. Rags, Lars, let's definitely get the little sort of guidance together so that everybody's on the same page and we can get videos. They're all amazing on video, they're stars. So
we know.
We can see
I can speak from a personal experience. I've seen them all. Oh my God, it's amazing, and I think they'll turn out some very powerful videos. And your voice.
I think now when we have some big companies with us for the forum, they could be a good help. I think they would love this.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
So let's try to do something smart.
That's amazing. Wonderful. Let me ask Drishya, if you want to guide us going forward, please.
Yeah. So I would like to inform that during these 6 days, we did conducted 2 separate kind of discussions. One was a youth panel. Most of them who are right now present here were part of the youth panel. And also we did a discussion, an open dialogue with specifically for the Africa region. And we have Shay from Future Savers, who was the moderator of that dialogue. I would like to ask him his story, and also reflect us and share with us what was his experience of the dialogue that we did. Shay.
All right, thank you so much. It's a fascinating time to be here with everybody. she has said, we had a fantastic dialogue that was focused on Africa and climate crisis in Africa, because we realized that African community are actually facing the brunt of climate change now, and it's no more climate change; it's becoming climate crisis. For example, the Lake Chad is almost completely dried up. Over 90% of the Lake Chad is dried up now, and that is really creating a lot of havoc in Africa. So many African countries are feeling the brunt. It's no more news to the world, to the entire world, what is happening in Nigeria, for example, that has to do with the Fulani herdsmen. It's a migration of the herdsmen from their local communities to other green or vegetation communities, right? They're seeking for food, for their animals. And then this creates a lot of communal clashes in other communities because they see them as threats to their already small resources that they are trying to manage, because every community have been affected by climate change. So for example, the stream that can fully provide for the whole of the community before, a small stream of water, now you have to take tons, or probably when you get to the stream by, let's say, 9 a.m., it's all probably dried up. You have to wait for this, the next day. How would you feel when someone from a very strange community, like from a far community rather, who is a stranger, comes with his cattle, want to feed his cattle, and then becomes a clash? There's going to be fight. And personally, I'm a farmer. I have a farm in Nigeria, and I've experienced the Fulani herdsmen issue. They came to my farm to hit what I planted. I planted corn, I planted plantain and stuff like that. So they came to my farm to feed their animals, whereas it affected me economically. So the issue of drought was one of the things we discussed, and this is one of the effects of drought, because if their communities has not been
I think he has some bad network.
being affected by climate change, they will need to migrate now. It's
Thank you, Shay. Thank you sharing. Thank you for sharing the outcomes and the way we conducted the entire discussion. I think it's very important. We covered various range of issues. We talked about floods. We talked about drought, and we also talked about low income. The overall agenda of that discussion was to understand what is the effect of climate change, how it is impacting, what is the scale of the impact, and also to talk about the mitigation process, and then devise a call to action. It was the first discussion that has happened so far, and we are planning to do more to actually work on the mitigation process in detail and discuss how each one of us can take actions, because all those who were part of that discussion were although from Africa, but from different countries. So we had some 6 to 7 countries who were part of that discussion. So similarly, we had a youth panel discussion yesterday, where we had participation from different countries, and the topic was about climate justice and equity, and how the work these young people are doing who were part of that panel were actually addressing the issue of climate justice. So I don't know if Veer has left. I think he has.
Yeah,
But I,
beer is gone. Yeah.
yeah, I wanted him to share his story, but unfortunately he's not here. But we'll definitely get more chances to interact with. Hello,
Yeah.
Willie.
Yeah, we've got Billy
Maybe,
from Cameroon. Yeah. Hi,
maybe you wanted me to share the story.
Could you share your story in about a minute, please, Billy? We would love to hear your voice. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, and thank you for the moderator, for the moderation, and thank you for all those who have actually been discussing so far. Their discussion has really been enriching, and I wish to actually shift in my own comment or my own story back here in Cameroon, what we are doing so far, as to see that we bring in the climate justice and equity, which was the topic of yesterday's discussion, the youth panel that actually held yesterday. Actually, back here in Cameroon, we are acting as activists, that's as youth activists in our various communities. I'm in the West.
I think Billy's connection is a little bit weak. Drishya, you can.
Are we together?
It's not coming through,
No,
Billy.
it's not.
Sorry. Go ahead. We'll catch up with Billy. Thank you.
So we have Sam with us from the pop movement. I would request him if he can cover his story in a minute.
Maybe he can share it in the chat.
Okay, so good day, everybody. Can you all hear me?
Yes,
Yeah.
Sam.
Okay, so thank you so much. And well, it's been an awesome time. Thanks to the Jacobs and the Jacobsson. Sorry. Hey, Sam. My name's Sek. Nice having you. And then to all the pop family and everyone. Thank you so much. My name is Samuel Siokore, and my climate story has been from, well, I say grace to grace. Yes, from grace to grace. Yes. And it all started years back. Before I carried out my first climate action, we had our own share of climate change, with my house being flooded, and we lived in a flooded house for about 3 years, which is something that was really horrible. Imagine staying in a flooded house for about 3 years, you know? So each morning we wake up, remove the water, and then water comes back again. So at times we use bricks to take the water, to take to put above the ground level so that we can be able to sleep. So we use bricks to put inside our house, and then put bed on top so that we can be able to sleep, raising it above the water level and exposing ourselves to all manner of sickness, disease, and at times we can even go ill. I remember I haven't said this before, so there was a day I fell ill that I couldn't hear or talk. So I was horribly ill, and then my mom took everybody to the hospital. We are all hospitalized. We spent a day or two, and then later on I recovered, and then it was horrible. So what I discovered was that the drainage water channel was not working, was very poor, plastic waste blocking everywhere, and it was not well constructed. So as a kid then, still in primary school, I never had any experience or knowledge of what to do until I packed out of that place. That was when I realized this was actually the problem. So in 2017, I campaigned for climate action in Lagos State, where I told people about waste management and the essence of promoting green in the environment. So I have also advocated for a whole lot of drainage water channels in Nigeria, which has gotten the government attention, and they have also responded to it as well. And then I've worked with a whole lot of government stakeholders, from the national level, which is Nigeria itself, to the local level, which is the local government level itself, calling for climate action with the Ministry of Environment at the federal, at the state commissioners, and at the local government level, which are the local leaders. And what I'm currently doing in Nigeria is a replica of what I believe the world needs right now, which is a drive to the green economy, which is what I think the world needs right now. Because if we don't drive to green economy, we may end up one day not having anything to offer ourselves. I just wrote an article on dry land degradation and the rise of conflicts in Nigeria. Dry land is our land, and there's a whole lot of degradation in the dry land, which has brought about a whole lot of conflict. Migration, herdsmen attack, food insecurity, a whole lot of things. So I wrote an article in that regard, and what I'm doing in Nigeria is to educate kids, secondary school, market traders, and even government leaders as well on the essence of green economy. Like that was a mind-blowing video I did. I opened today where we had a section, a leadership section, where I was engaging the secondary school students. And I also recorded testimonies of the secondary school students. You need to hear them say, what I taught them has not been, they have not planned something like that in their lifetime. And what did I teach them? The essence of economic trees, and then planting economic trees in their homes, and also the essence of having ornaments as well, flowers in their homes, which they have not been taught. So imagine if we can educate kids on the essence of economic trees, on the essence of energy, renewable energy. If we can teach them these things and also show them how, it will drive the great force for the green economy, you know? So today we also planted economic trees in schools. And one of the visions I have for these economic trees is if we can be able to empower each household with economic tree, each student with economic tree, and also teach them a sustainable farming process that can facilitate the growth, which I have been taught and know as well. It will reduce the rate of food insecurity in Nigeria and also in Africa and in the world at large. It's left for who is going to take action, but I will always take action because I don't like waiting for people to do it before me. So I like doing it and see others follow as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your story. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Sam. So I think we are about time, and so I would like to emphasize on what Rags and Lars mentioned about the video, and we'll definitely develop the guidelines to create it, and we'll also use the stories that are shared right now during this meeting, and send them to you separately so that we can start with them. If I don't know if someone else wants to share the story before we end, but the idea would be for the testimonials, the video should not be more than 3 minutes, right? If that is fine. I think so. 3 minutes is like a good strength, like for people to focus on a video and be engaged with you. So it can be like maximum should be of 3 minutes, and there are 3 questions that we can try to emphasize on while we are expressing our stories. One, what climate change means to you in your region. Second, what is your motivation and what inspired you. And maybe the third that you can cover is how the representatives from the local community from your region can also be motivated to take climate action. So these are the 3 questions that we can cover in the videos, and we'll provide everybody who is right now in the call with the guidelines so that they can follow up.
Yeah, maybe 1 minute could be good as well.
Okay.
Make it
1 minute,
sharp, and we can have many, and think about it. Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
So what we can do, I think, is that we'll just run the questions out to Rags Lars and determine any other specifications with respect to the videos, 1 minute and all the rest. And then let's also agree, if everybody is on board here, that we can join in a group. Just give a thumbs up if you agree to connect so that we can pursue this committee and work together with your leadership to make sure we're able to pursue next steps on this and make sure that we're all part of the Climate Aid Forum and pre-COP and preparation. So just a quick harder thumbs up, or hard is even better if you're ready, and we can push. Does that work, everyone?
That's great.
Super. Really appreciate it. That's amazing.
I'll be dropping a WhatsApp invite link in the chat through which you can join the group, all those who are part of this call.
Thank you. That sounds beautiful. Let's just get a link and connect using that. So all you need to do is hit the link and it'll take you to the group automatically. And we look forward to taking this forward. And I just want to once again congratulate you on your leadership. I know there's a lot of personal inspiration, and that's what makes it even more powerful. But I think the most important thing, like Rags and Lars just pointed out, is that we need to focus on hope. Yes, we can do it. And, you know, we need to move out of any doom and gloom kind of scenarios. I think the most important thing is that the science very clearly indicates we do have a window of opportunity. The time definitely is now, and collectively we're the ones. So I think this is a very, very powerful message. And I want to thank Rags and Lars very, very much for you know, making this happen, for being sort of at the helm of all the action. And you know, I know you also bring very, very important you know, connections which really can help to translate this, so we move beyond the talk to the real walk. And I just want to say that that's crucial. And you know, to the whole family here, that you know, my heart beats for you, and we're together in this. And I love and I respect you, and I believe in everything that you stand for, and I stand for you. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lars, Rags. Any words to help us close here, but only closing to open? Thank you.
Thank you.
Any message that you want to share before we, the link is in the chat. Thank you for sharing, Drishya. And over to you, Rags, Lars, please, and then we'll see you soon.
Yeah, thank you so much, everyone. Looking forward to this.
Yeah.
Let's make something really good.
Yeah, and let's stay together, keep up the energy, and join forces to make this happen. Where the time is running out, but there are, as Ash said, hope. So
thank
keep
you.
up the good work.
Thank you so much.
Okay,
We'll see.
We'll
see you. Thank you. Thank you so much. And see you soon.
Thank you so much once again for joining us, and see you all in the next session.
Thank you. And thank you, all our amazing leaders, every one of you. And thank you, Drishya, for making this happen.
Thank you all.
Hey,
Bye.
Sam.
Hey, Dr. Lama.
Thank you, everybody.
Nice to see you again.
God bless you. Thank you. Love, love, big hug to all of you.
Bye.
See you in the next room in a minute. Blessings.